Hi, this is David from FuMaster Management Consulting, and today I propose you to continue with our document that we prepared last time. And this time we are going to jump into Excel and import that data into Excel and make sense of it. So for that I have created a small macro that's going to save this document as a PDF file on one side and as a text file, keeping just the elements that we need separated by comma that we can later on import into Excel. So let's have a look how it works. I have my two folders here that contain PDF files on one side and the text file on the other side. As I'm going to save my document, it's going to create a PDF file and a text file. Let's have a look. Here we have our PDF file and our text file. So let's have a look what's inside. We have our PDF file, the same as our Word document with the different elements, the company name, the product, quantities, unit cost, and amount calculated. That's fine. So that we can send that to our client. On the other side, we have our invoice text file with the different elements, company name, invoice number, date, product name separated by comma. And this type of document we can import easily into Excel. So that's going to be very practical. And all our text file will save them in our text file folder, and all our PDF file will be saved in the PDF file folder. All right, so let's go into Excel and import that data into Excel. Let's go in the Data tab, Get Data, and From File, From Folder. Let's choose our folder. We can paste the path file here and import that data. So we have the only file that exists in this folder that we can see here. It's the invoice one text, okay, as a binary file. Let's go and transform data. We have the same here. We can combine the file. And here we have the content of that file. So the company name, invoice name, date, and so on. We can import that in query. So notice here that now we have the different steps that Power Query took to transform the data from the source file until the content of that source file that have been processed here. So we need to modify a little bit the data that we have here. We can remove that column that we don't need. We can change the name of those fields. Here it's going to be company name. Here it's going to be invoice number, date, and that's going to be changing later on. So let's remove some columns at the end that have been imported and we don't especially need. That's the total, the tax, and the total amount, but we can reconstitute that after. So we can remove that. Let's go back to the beginning. Now we are going to select all those columns and unpivot that. So we go into transform and unpivot columns. Now we have the column names here that we don't need, so we can remove that. Here we have the value. We don't need those empty cells, so we can remove them. All blank and empty. And now we are going to make sure that we have in front of the product name the quantity and not just below. That we don't want below, but just in front of it. So for that, we are going to add a column and an index starting from 1. Now we have it. So we can select that column and transform, perform modulo by 2. Click OK. Now for each row index that have 0, we'll move this value to a new column. So we are going to add a conditional column and rename it quantity. And so we say that for each index that equals 0, we are going to retrieve the content of a selected column, which is going to be the value. And otherwise, it should be null. Okay. now we have the result, and we can fill up that column. So fill up. Now we have exactly what we wanted. We have the quantity just in front of our product name associated with the date of our invoice number for this company. So now we can remove this duplicate quantity by filtering 0. So we remove all zeros and we make sure that we keep only 1. And now we can remove our index. So each time my steps have been recorded, we can see where we are and go back eventually to the previous step and modify if we did a mistake in the previous step. So we have the value which we are going to name product. All right, so change the type of this field to text and the type of this one to whole number. Now we can add the product price and the total as well. So let's add that. First we close and load, and I had prepared already in a second sheet our table with the price for each product that we can load in our Power Query. So we go in the Data tab, Get and Transform, and load from table. So now we have our product list in Power Query. Notice on the side when we expand that, we can access back our other query that we created previously, and now we can merge data with it. So we have our product that we want to link to the product name of the price list, which is this one, and click OK. Now we have our table that we can extract the content. We remove the product name that we don't need. We select price and we unselect this, so we don't want to have the original column name as prefix. Click OK. Now we have the price associated for each product, and we can do a calculation with that. So we add a column, perform a function which is multiply. It's going to create another column for which the result is our total for the quantity times price, right? So those two columns, we are going to change the type, transform, and let's go to the Home tab. Instead of whole number, we want currency. Here we have our invoice with the different information, quantity, price, and the total. Let's change this to total. And I notice the currency has not been taken for this one, so let's change it here to currency. Here we go. We can load that to Excel, close and load to. So we can load our query to a table, existing worksheet A1. That's the cell that our table will appear. We don't need to add it to the data model for now. And we have our table now with our invoice number, the date, the products that belong to this invoice number, the quantities, price, and the total price. So we can format that columns with the 1000 separators. And now when we have new invoices, then we can just refresh. We go into data and refresh to integrate those new invoices. Let's have a look. So we are at the end of January. We have new invoices. We can put them inside our text file folder, go back into Excel and refresh. Now we have our new data inside here. When we have again new data coming in February, we can also select them, move them inside here, and refresh again. All right, so here we go. We have all our invoice details inside Excel, and we can use that to create pivot table, pivot chart, and analysis of the companies that purchase our product, number of products sold per period, and the quantity and price, total amount paid for each company for each product. That's it. Thank you very much for watching.